go straight to hi, everybody. How are you? Welcome. Good morning. Hello. Still setting up. Had a bit of a finagly thing, returning to the studios. There we go. And scene. Hey, one of my other lights wasn't working, and so there. Now it is. Whew, okay. I was chasing Chip around this morning because he was like, "Where have you been? What are you doing? Why weren't you here to give me my morning food and my pets? You're a big jerk." And I was like, "I know this. Why do you think I don't know this? Of course I know this. Why wouldn't I? Of course I know this. I know this. I know that." Hello, welcome. It's Hal Sparks Mornings, Megaworldwide. I have to get a graphic for the top of it that says that, because it's just right now it's just the all your studio are needed. Yes, all your studios are belong to us. All your studio are belong to us, except for, of course, our dear friends in the trendages department. Hold on one second. Let's go to trends and news. Hi everybody in the trends and news department. How are you? Good to see you. Oh, look, this camera goes down further, so I have to straighten out. I'm gonna have to go back to wearing a belt. Hype train. Welcome to the show. I am building a new setup for our ongoing endeavor to try and improve the show at all times. And it's really just a fixation of mine, isn't it? I guess this is my kind of sort of OCD or something. I don't know. Did you chip your camera? Yes. Kia ora. Hello. Um, you like the word finagle? Use that word finagle? I like it because it's halfway between real work on something and just dicking around with it and wasting time. It's sort of a solution. Um, uh, Never always wear. Well, the reason. Okay, so I have lately, thanks to my dietary situation, um, have gone down like 2 pant sizes, so I have to wear a belt for my pants anyways. The other thing is that I'm always crawling around under things, and I never want to have a plumber experience. Uh, so I wear a belt for that. Also, when I'm doing work, also I'm sometimes I wear these 511 jeans that my cousin talked me into, and I do enjoy them. They have way too many pockets. They're all hidden pockets because the whole thing is like it's they're these things are crazy. They literally have ammo pockets. They're sub pockets in every pocket for a magazine for a gun. They're cop pants basically, but they wear like regular jeans, and the waist is really high because the idea is that when you hang your gun on it, your pants come down a little bit, so they're built a little higher. So yeah, seriously. So these and I have to say, I'm one of these folks, and some of you may agree, some of you may disagree, and I don't care. That I am many musicians and my dear friends will call this little thing on your jeans right here, this pocket, this little mini pocket, that is your pickpocket. That's a pickpocket, and it is not because it is the easiest thing to steal out of. It is quite the opposite, actually. That it would be technically, unless you are so sexually desensitized that you just can't tell when anybody touches your pelvis bone. That you can't even feel that. It's like I've been so crazy all these years that you could just slap on it and just to get me started. But no, the pickpocket, this little guy here, is for your picks, for guitar picks, and it is a matter of course. Yeah, it used to be a watch pocket. Now it's a pickpocket. I'm just saying. Also, good morning. Drinking coffee this morning. Hal makes socknity. What is socknity? Crack is illegal. I agree. That's why I wear a belt. Yeah. Don't do plumber's crack, kids. How we need an update on your daily nutrition. My daily nutrition is pretty simple. Meat, eggs, and dairy, some honey, and an occasional bit of fruit, but that's it. That is the entirety of it. And it's been fantastic. I don't know what else to tell you. I meant to do it temporarily, and now it's all the time. This morning I am having bulletproof coffee. Don't shoot me. It's a term of endearment. It's a nickname. It's a hashtag bulletproof. Not real bulletproof. It's And honestly, I don't know why they named it that. Like I guess I've been kind of going back over it. I guess the idea is that it makes your thinking bulletproof. Yes, I'm doing carnivore. I have been for 7 months now. That's called starving yourself? By no means. I am eating enormous amounts of food. That's the funny part. Yes, bulletproof is coffee, MCT oil, and grass-fed butter. That is right. So I'm drinking butter coffee this morning, which, by the way, has extra heavy cream in it. I added a little bit in there because this is from, they make those little coffee pods for bulletproof coffee that you can get from the company, Dave Asprey's company. Anyways, I I enjoy those, and I have to say they taste exactly like it when I make it myself. As in response to Black Rifle, no, I drink Black Rifle coffee occasionally because they came out again. It was one of those situations with Black Rifle where they came out against Trump, and I'm like, okay, if you can, if I don't give a shit if I'm not gonna have to agree with everything you think or say. We can have a regular conversation, right? You can't hear me on YouTube. You should, because that's on your end then. Because I swear to God, I'm talking, and I'm talking to some people who are on YouTube. So like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. It's the morning show, and here we are. Um, yeah, you love super sweet espresso. Well, then it's not espresso, is it? Butter coffee. Yes, it is coffee with butter in it. That's how you do it. So my friend followed that diet until she had a stroke. How are your triglycerides? My triglycerides are fine. Um, and I don't know that she's following mine, but I hear YouTube. Oh, good, thank you. Is Trump AI generated? No, and he's not a clone. He's just the same old dumbass. By the way, I desperately want to do a catch. Okay, so let's do a bit of background for our regular folks that are coming in here. This is going to be a crazy busy week for me because next week my kid goes back to school, and my girl and her son are taking off for a mother-son trip to Europe. They've never done it, so Summer and Ethan are going off to enjoy Europe, and they're going to several places and the hot spots and whatnot. And they're just gonna, they're on a tour and they're gonna go do that. Excuse me one second. Um, and so they're going off on Friday, and my mom is visiting for this week while my son is here before he goes to school. And so everybody's here, and then everybody's gone. So as of Friday, I have empty nest syndrome. I'm just going to tell you that if uh, the Saturday radio show or Monday's show of next week are weepy messes, that is why. If I'm an emotional mess, or I start okay, so this might be TMI, but I back in Kentucky when I had to go back there, you go and you get some stuff. We were going to go swimming, and we hadn't brought Cam any swim trunks with us because he keeps outgrowing them, and we didn't think we'd have a chance to go swimming in the lake behind my dad's place because it's an algae fest right now because nothing Kentucky has never been greener. Anyways, so we're like, maybe we probably won't get to it, but if we need to, we will. And so we decided we're going to go over to my cousin's house. He has a pool, so we're going to go swimming. So yours truly has to head out to the nearest place to get some sort of swim trunks for him, and that would be a Walmart. And so I run into a Walmart, and is in and out as quickly as I can. And over the loudspeakers, they start playing "Rock and Roll All Night" by Kiss, and you guys know what a big Kiss fan I am. And I got really emotional. It was so weird, and I think it's because of this week and the funeral and my uncle being sick and all that stuff, and the family kind of dealing with all this. It's all happening at once, and so I was like tearing up at the sound of "Rock and Roll Night." And this is this is not an AI story. This is true, in a Walmart. And the reason is because that song, came out in 1976, and reminds me of a time in Kentucky when I was a kid, when while there definitely were problems in the world, uh, there was a little bit of ease in people's response to them. There was a, you know what I mean? There was like this. like it's gonna, hey, you just go hang out with some friends. Yeah, of course, the Iranians have hostages, and we're in the middle of the Cold War, and there's an oil embargo, and there's lines for gas, and all this other shit's happening, and blah blah blah. And where Nixon was just impeached, and the Vietnam War ended 4 years ago, and people are coming home with problems and all. But there was also this kind of things like, let's go see some monster trucks. There's an auto show, and Batman and Robin will be there. Adam West and Burt Ward will be at the Lexington at Rupp Arenas. They would like shit like that. That was always going on, in spite of the fact that the world was full of craziness. And I recognized on so many levels, in that one moment, that that's still true. It's just, I think social media to some degree has strangled that impulse a little bit. It's kept us from recognizing that they were real laid back for you, John. I have no doubt. I was a little young for it to be that laid back. But I get you. Times are easy. Just have to grind your teeth through the hard parts. Yeah, well, that part of it was like I was. Some of you may know that I am often panicked by the beauty of life. That if I have a distinguishing characteristic about myself as a human being that I fall back on, or that has always been part of my existence, is that I can look out a window or at a passing group of people or at a restaurant full of human beings eating food and sort of feel like I'm absorbing the fact that so much has to go right just for this normal shit that people take for granted to happen, that I find it beautiful. I really do. See, I told you it's going to be like an emotional week. This is just how it works. So, but I literally, like, I can feel my heart swell at normalcy a lot of the time because I spent a good portion of my life just clawing my way uphill to try and get to normal. Hal cries in Walmart all the time. Yeah, but that's with laughing and crying at the same time is not the same. Crying because you're laughing hard is not the same. So, um, what it means you're a normal human. I hope so. I hope that's how everybody looks at it, but I don't think so. I don't know that that's the fact. But I definitely have that feeling. Like I sit around and I go, if only these people knew how even the worst of this situation is better than 80% of what's happening on the earth at any given time, for a lot of people. Um, and if they won't appreciate it, I'll appreciate it for them. That's it. That was a Jesse Ventura contract obligation. Yeah, it's the I ain't got time to bleed kind of. That's my philosophy. Emotionally, I ain't got time for an emotional bloodletting now. So who knew Hal was actually Gojo Satori? Good lord. Uh, and Reach. How did you see the Ukrainian drone hit Moscow? Yeah, I saw that. I want to talk to Phil about that on Wednesday because I'm dubious. I do know that they've been trying. I think the Russians are letting some through or firing off their own because that's how Putin got power. Whatever. That's another conversation. But I don't necessarily believe that all of them are Ukrainian drones. I think they're attacking some of their own shit as a prerequisite to bomb civilian areas of Ukraine. That's just really what I think. That's just, honestly. So, anyways, the other emotional moment. Oh, so I saw the movie 65. Has anybody seen the movie 65 with Adam Driver? Doing Abbey Road tomorrow night. Yes, we are doing an Abbey Road. That's right. We're doing an Abbey Road tribute tomorrow night. Because of my the funeral I had last week and some other stuff, we were gonna do Mama by Genesis. I was gonna try to force them to do it, but everybody was too nervous about running it, and I was like, "We can do it." It's like, but they voted. So eventually, I'm going to make that song happen. God damn it! So okay, so yes, dinosaur movie, kind of. Okay, yes, somewhere in time, yes, you saw the movie 65. Now, if you don't know the premise, it's supposed to be the reveal. There's supposed to be this M. Night Shyamalan Omega at the end, but the title gives it away. And okay, so the idea is spaceship from another planet, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, is on an exploratory thing, and it flies through an asteroid field that's not charted. Not sure how it got there, but they bash into some stuff and they roll over and they whatever, and they crash into this planet because they have to. Everybody dies except the pilot and this little girl. And the ship broke in half on its way in, and the part they were in lands over here, and the part with the rescue pods that are still intact is far away, and so they have to make it from here to here, and on this map, which is 15 kilometers, and they don't know where they are, and the computer's failing, blah blah blah. But they got to take it on the heel and toe, and he's got a laser gun and a couple other things, but that's it. Now, this is the part in the movie where yours truly would start getting mad about the science. Yes, Koa the girl. All right. It's 65. No, it's in I don't know, it's not in theaters. It's on Netflix right now, I think. Anyways, yeah, Pitch Black. So it's very, it's not Planet of the Apes. I would say Land of the Lost. But the idea is that they have to get from there to there, and will they make it? And this guy has a daughter back home, and he goes on this 2-year mission because that's how they're going to pay him for this treatment that will save her life. And so he just agrees to be the pilot of this thing for a 2-year mission, even though he'll be away from her because when he gets back, she'll be healthy. Okay. If you have cryo chambers, that's unnecessary. The reality is you'd put the girl in a cryo chamber and then for 2 years, just like the passengers, and then you'd fix what's wrong with her. What? Why would you? Why? How come people on the ship are in cryo sleep, but she just can't be put in cryo? Okay, so again, we have this problem all the time. It's what I would call the Back to the Future hoverboard problem issue, because if you have created a hoverboard, everything else changes on Earth because the hoverboard is based on anti-gravity, and anti-gravity is once you solve for that, you solve friction, you solve it getting out of the Earth's atmosphere, you solve like 60% of the fuel costs of moving things. Again, this is where the problem I have with The Fly, the movie, I love The Fly. I love the movie The Fly. I love it. I love the sciencey stuff in it. But for fuck's sake, when he says I can move inanimate objects, I just can't move animate objects, and you're like, asshole, move all the inanimate objects. Wayfair alone would fund all of the research you would need for the next 10 fucking years. It's your patent. You're done. Why do you give a shit if you can't move living things, stupid? I'd be happy enough to just go, wait a minute, my bags will be there when I get there. Sweet. Like they just put your shit in the Seth Brundle baggage claim, right? And then you take the flight or the fucking maglev, and your bags are already there when you get there. You can't lose somebody's bags because they can be there. If they went to the wrong pod, you just, boop, there they are. Here they are. You know what I mean? What are you, stupid? Who cares? Who fucking cares if you can move living things? You moron. Don't do it. Hal, it's entertainment. No, it's not just entertainment, Loves Alaska, because they set rules and then they break them. It's not the same thing. Look, if you say guy can levitate, I'm cool. And you go, guy can levitate, but only if he's holding special rock. Okay, cool. That's the story? Yeah. And so somebody takes his special rock and he needs to levitate or we're all going to die? Okay, so he's got to get the rock back? Great, I'm in. Let's watch the story about the guy trying to get the levitating rock back. And the rock won't let anybody else levitate, but the bad guy thinks it'll make him levitate, so he just wants the rock so nobody can levitate, or that guy can. Okay, cool. That's our rules. Okay, great. And then the guy levitates without the rock. Fuck you. Right? The first time the first time the guy levitates without the rock, I'm like, piss off. I just noticed you have a Chuck Barris vibe. That's not bad. That's okay. Well, we're both spies for the CIA, according to some people, so that makes sense. All right. So, yes, kind of like the Kiss movie. They need the talismans. You take the talismans away, they can't have any powers. They get the talismans back. They've got their powers back. It's like if you had the Infinity Wars, like you go through, like, we got to find all the Infinity Stones. And you're like, we never needed the Infinity Stones. They were in our heart all the time. Shut up. Don't do Chuck's dance. I won't. I can't. I don't know that I can. I'd have to practice that one. All right. So, again, you set the rules. I'll live within those rules and enjoy the story. But the minute you break them, I'm mad. Okay. So or the guy's supposed to be, oh my God, the guy is so smart. He's smarter than anybody. Seth Brundle, Bradley Cooper's character, Mora, whatever, Eddie Mora in whatever that fucking drug movie was. He did the I'm funny that I can remember his name but not the movie, but it's because it makes me angry. That's why, because the movie makes me angry. Yes, Limitless. Thank you. It irritates me. That's why my brain is like, don't think of it, you'll get mad. Don't think of the title of Limitless, you'll get angry. So he's supposed to be a genius. He's trading, and he turns $100,000 into $25 million in a matter of days and stuff. But he forgets to pay back the mob guy. Fuck. What? You know what? I should have set an alarm. Like, he could have, if he paid the guy back literally 2 days later, the plot falls apart. Fuck you. So he's not, apparently the pill makes you super smart, except it will make you forget the one thing that could get you pushed out a window. So, all right, let's back to 65. So 65, I put on hold because I've watched it on an airplane. I put on hold the issue that I have with, if they can cryo freeze the people on the ship, why the fuck can't they cryo freeze the girl? Or why doesn't he fucking, if they only have cryo things on the ship, cool, put her in one. He'll take his daughter with her, frozen like a daughter sickle, and then fly back with her frozen. Why she have to be never mind. Okay, so I put that aside. I'm just putting it aside. There's no pods left. Don't get me started on pods. Okay, so I'm giving him that room. There's some reason she can't be frozen. They don't say it, because if they say it, I'll get mad. They go, well, there's a reason, because if she has a genetic lung. I'm like, you can't fix. You've got interstellar space travel and all this other technology, and you can cryo freeze people without damage, and you can't fix a genetic marker in somebody with an inserted compound to make sure they produce an amino acid. That's what'll happen. So they don't even bother. So he gets on the ship, he crashes, and the girl's, it's like he's got no reason. He thinks he's going to die on the planet because he's alone there and the ship is crashed and everybody's dead. And then he discovers the girl is there, reminds him his daughter's home, and blah, 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 and he saves his own life, and he saves her. Okay. He's got to save her. That's the thing. It's the driving force. Great. Cool. So at that point, where I'm just aggravated, they get it to the point, and then he discovers a girl, and of course it's a little on the nose, but whatever. I, as a dad, am a mess. I'm a mess. I'm on the edge of tears at every turn in this movie that under normal circumstances has so many issues that I would want to go counter protest the WGA picket line. Like, wait a minute, fuck you. Whoever wrote 65, step out of line. But you only lasted 10 minutes. That's the thing. At 11 minutes, like, the hooks all come in, and I'm like, God damn it. So eat some bread. All right. Yeah. Right. I don't, why would I want to not cry at something sweet like that? And it's because of all this other stuff. Like again, I have so oh god, it just like, and I'm even aware of it while it's happening. I'm like, you ever watch a movie that's like, you're being manipulated and you're like, you motherfucker. You didn't tell Hal that Tony Michaels was looking to get on the show? No, but Tony's been on before. We'll bring him back on. Be glad to. Did she nearly die at least twice? Yes. And they get separated and she's on her own for a couple of minutes, and like, oh God, will she survive? But the idea is that it's 65 million years ago and the planet they land on is Earth, and the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs is like hours away, because boy, can they pick when to travel. They got cryo, they got hyperspace, they got long distance, interstellar travel. They got that all figured out. But they forgot to map the giant asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs, that if you would have seen anything, you'd have seen that one. I'm just fuck. Well, it's not a spoiler. Yeah. Tara Devlin is I think she's gonna be on Friday. So fingers crossed. Here's I had the experience with the movie AI. Oh yeah. It's been so long. I gave up on that one too. But I felt like you fuckers are gonna try and it's a robot that looks like a boy, and I'm like, okay, here's why I don't like that one. First of all immortal computerized growth is instantaneous compared to the rest of us. It is the absolute opposite of God time. God time would be billions of years, and it takes him 100,000 years just to blink his eye. So the rest of us don't. Blah blah blah. And we're all going to die before he even, halfway between his hand moving from his chin to scratching his ass, and that's your life comes and goes in that moment. And that's AI was a remake of Pinocchio, exactly, and that's. It was disturbing enough in Ex Machina, which is also ass and annoys. Oh, he wants me on his show. I see. Thursday will work. I can do his show then. I see. Okay. Tuesday I can't because tomorrow's the jam. So, don't get me started on Ex Machina. Good Lord. It's the only movie where they had to rewrite plot points because one of the actors couldn't do text speak and make it sound convincing. It's not the guy who, like, Steve Jobs or Elon Musk his way through making these robots. The dude made them himself personally. He fabricated the fake tissue. He reorganized the brain structure. Somebody like that can't stop talking about it. Jack off. Anyways, I'm gonna. Oh God, I love sci-fi and I hated it too. And it's partly because I love, like, Blade Runner. Blade Runner gets to the point. These things are made as adults, but they have childlike brains, and then they go crazy because they don't understand the complexity of the psyche of these things that they have made, and so they try to fix it by giving them memories, and then some of them try to, are so convinced of their reality, that they want to kill the person that gave them a shortened lifespan. The reason they got a shortened lifespan was to protect humanity from them because they're dangerous and they can live forever. The first Blade Runner. I mean, the second one's fine. But yes, Blade Runner is my favorite movie as well. The original cut, not the director's cut, not the tap dance around it, taking out the film noir voiceover, all that stuff. Yeah. Intelligence isn't artificial. Nick Rich, don't get me started. It's synthetic intelligence, not artificial. We're never going to have artificial intelligence except maybe at a MAGA rally. They stopped making decent movies in the 80s. No, I don't think so. I would argue, again, best sci-fi movie of the last 3 decades. I would go back to even the 90s. um, is Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat, depending on what you call it. I call it Edge of Tomorrow because that's the name of the movie, but the ad said Live, Die, Repeat, so everybody thought that was the name. It's the Winger debut album problem. The Winger debut album was called Sahara. It's written right down in the lower right hand corner, but nope, everybody was just like the Winger debut album, so they just called it Winger because this is Winger up here and Sahara really small, and nobody paid attention. Matrix was good. Yeah, I agree. The follow-ups were unnecessary. Um, but yeah, everything everywhere all at once. I liked it too. I thought it was chaotic and a little ham-handed, but I appreciated the acting in it a lot. Dark City's pretty good. I mean, I like where they're going. I just don't think they believe their own nihilism, and that's really hard. You have to, like, it's kind of like Watchmen. Watchmen's problem was that it's written from a fuck the world kind of attitude, but it's made by people who want to wake up tomorrow and eat a nice meal and get laid and meet friends for see a movie and shit like that. And that's very weird. Inception's very good. Yes, I liked Inception a lot. Again, another one where you would ruin it with a sequel. I loved Equilibrium. Yes, Equilibrium's great. It was sort of the stir of echoes to Sixth Sense. Equilibrium was to The Matrix. Interstellar's lovely. That'll get me. Talk about getting emotional hooks in you as a dad. Holy shit. I didn't like Tenet. I wanted to like it. I desperately wanted to like it. It annoyed me. Like, it was just like, again, it's like there's a cop out in sci-fi. This is what it's going to happen. I loved Stir of Echoes too. The scene where he leans forward and then leans back and she's sitting on the couch next to him, the ghost, is like the best jump scare of that, like a 5-year period. um, the One of the issues I had with Tenet was you make the main character ignorant enough of what's going on that you can kind of use their ignorance to hide plot holes. What's going on here? We'll never find out. Oh, it's this thing. There's a door there, and if you go through the door, it's a thing. But they might have their own door. Do they? I don't know. There's a tunnel. Who can say? But like that kind of shit. It's fine, but they dodge a lot of stuff. Tomorrow War, yeah, that was not good. You know what was good was the Atom Project on which is Ryan Gosling. I mean, not Ryan Gosling. Ryan Reynolds and yeah, it's like he goes back and visits himself. He's grown up and he visits himself and his dad. He's after going through time to save himself, basically. And Oblivion, I loved Oblivion. It's one of my. It's a this is it's a 2-hour Twilight Zone episode, but I liked it. But the Atom Project was nice. Gravity was a bore. I thought the cheat where he shows up and she's losing her mind was really on the nose. Spoiler alert for movie 6 minute. Time Bandits is lovely. Invaders from Mars, schedule. Okay. Yeah, the original. Yeah, it's because it was gross and weird. Lost is a great utility, ran out of story plot lines. Lost was always a lie. That's the problem with Lost. Lost was entirely a lie. So, what's his name? Who wrote it? I don't want he whose name shall not be mentioned. Who wrote Lost and was the primary driving force behind it? Has a mystery box that his grandfather gave him from a magic store, a toy store, when he was a kid. That's right, Josh. And his grandfather gave him this mystery box, and he has it. He's never opened it. Sits in his office, and his point is that the mystery box is worth more not opened. The minute I open it, game over. And to some degree in storytelling, that is true. And that's where I would say the rule of thumb in writing should be give the audience what they want, not what they think they want. And this is the mistake made in things like Moonlighting and X-Files. People think they want the characters to get together. They don't. They don't tune in every week to finally see them get together. They tune in every week for the tension of will they get together. That's what they want. That's what they keep tuning into. Eventually, it'll have to pay off, kind of. or maybe it just doesn't, because life doesn't always pay off. But in that particular instance, or in the X Files, that tension is part of the excitement. And at least in the case of in the case of Moonlighting and in X Files, they had other shit to do. You could always just do that. You don't have to bring those characters together. You don't have to get lazy and say eventually these people are, no, they're not. Lots of male female and male gay partners and female perhaps lesbian partners have worked together for years and never knocked boots. They might have thought about it at different times. They might have had tension about it in real life, but they didn't, right? It's happened. Just let it be. But the minute you put it together, show's over. Shipping is always more fun than having a ship confirmed. That's right. Hal, in your absence, I tuned into Tony Magazine to miss possible. Someone in their chat accused you of stealing their tiny hands bit. Huh? Oh, you mean the little plastic hands? You guys remember those from like 2 years ago? Get out of here. All right, whatever. Oh, I've had those forever. The only reason I brought them back was because we went to a toy store that was right next. Okay, so in Kentucky, in looking for things to do that you can do with a kid, we went to one of those indoor glow in the dark golf places, to the putting places, which is very weird. And because as malls empty out, these big kind of pastime things are filling in multiple storefronts, right? And across the hall was a Spencer's Gifts. And I took my kid to Spencer's Gifts for the first time. But, obviously not past the counter. You got to, when you bring your kid, if you ever bring a kid to Spencer's Gift, you stop at the counter. Because everything past the counter is not kid appropriate. But in the front, there's a bunch of silly, stupid shit and, weird candies and all that kind of stuff. So, anyways, there was a thing full of like hands and claws, and I was looking for fingertips because when I do Jeff Goldblum, that's good. I wanted to get extra long fingers, so I looked. Yeah, I've been looking forever, and if anybody can find some, please feel free to at me anywhere. But I want little like finger extensions, just that long. I don't know why they're hard to find. Just ru- just rubber fingers, like just to put on the end. You know what I mean? Now they have those kind of like magic thumbs and stuff like that you can do tricks with, but just to make my fingers this much longer, because he has huge piano-y hands, and I just think when doing an impersonation of him, and there's a reason why I need this, because I have an idea for the Christmas special that I want to do this year. I'm gonna finally get around to it. God damn it, because I've been working on parts of it for years, and I finally got to put it all together, print them out. That's not a bad idea. I could print them, it is true, and then paint them and all that kind of stuff. But I was like, I'm pretty sure they're out there somewhere. And anyways, so I was looking for those, didn't find them, but found the little hands and some like bird claws, and then they had talons, and like what was the other one they had? We got a bunch of them. They're just stupid. Anyways, we got those, and we're playing with them in the car on the ride back. Yeah. Jeff Goldblum loves Goldblum impersonations. I know. He came over. I told you guys once that the one time I met him at his show he was performing with his jazz quintet, sextet, whatever. I don't know how many people are in it at this current form, but it's Jeff Goldblum and the Mildred Spitzer Orchestra, and he performs with them. And he, in the middle of it, between songs, he'll do like Jeff Goldblum trivia and weird shit like that. It's adorable. And he'll do lines. Did I say, who said this, or did I say this? Whatever. Um, and I was sitting there. Summer and I were watching the show. I'm sitting there watching the show, and he's walking around the crowd, and he stops right here. He doesn't know I'm there or whatever. We didn't ask him. I just bought tickets because that's what I do. And so he's standing there, and he's looking around. And he didn't. Oh, you're wonderful. And that was it. That's all he said. You're wonderful. So that's that, and Dom DeLuise telling me that I'm funny. I'm like, Now I don't. I got nothing to prove. I got nothing to prove at this point. So, good day, hello, hi. We haven't even gotten to the trends today because there's so much stuff on X. Let's jump in here real quick. Ron Perlman is largely trending because he probably said something that upset maggots. Is that what we're going to go with? Or he's left? Or he's just talking on message. We got to stay strong together and we got to realize that we're asking for a simple American decency. I agree. Ron Perlman, who is he? Okay, is he? The cruelty which comes from a statement like we're not going to be bargaining table until people start bleeding. That's war. That's not a negotiation. Agreed. Um, Stars in the Baker. Um, Perlman's fantastic in Drive, by the way. He's such a strange dude. There we go. Devin Arch. Whoops. Oh, I get back here. Oh dear, Roseanne. Everybody. So watch Roseanne speaks on the Black Eye Club and celebrities covering one eye. Oh, for fuck's sake. This nonsense. They're all the Illuminati. They all make the triangle or the thing, or they do this or blah. Because you know why? Okay. After 2002, if you did like a picture like this, assholes like her would go, "Oh my God, have you seen that they're part of the Illuminati?" And they would add a picture of you to their list of celebrities that were clearly taken by the Illuminati or whatever. And you would automatically get a pop on social media because people are like, "Oh my God, they're doing the triangle thing." And that's it. You're every photographer for like big photo shoots is going like, do the triangle over your eye. We'll just release it. I'll just slip it out there, and people, you'll get. I mean, the same idiots hate you already, so you'll get a bunch of uh, publicity out of it. Paul Allen is a level 5 victim. Oh, American Psychosis. I see. Large number of Nazis in Ukraine. They killed my entire family. People better wake up and do some research instead of buying what comes across on the screen. Says a woman on a screen. Nah, I see. That's the. Uh, I worked with Roseanne on the Funniest Mom in America as a judge and that kind of stuff, and we got along just fine during that time. She was uh, well on her journey to losing her marbles, and I've dealt with people who have gone from reasonably odd to genuinely crazy for whatever reason, be it drugs or genuine increasing biological mental illness or their own just hyper fixation on something that has just led them down a weird path of paranoia and whatnot. Um, she's also there's a bunch of people who like I'm gonna get shit from the weed as medicine people, but there are a bunch of people who can't handle it, and that it contributes to their psychosis and it contributes to their paranoia in a terrible, terrible, terrible way. And there was a period where everybody was like, "It's medicine. It's natural. It's natural. It's medicine. It's medicine. It's natural." That for those folks, it is not medicine. It is not natural, and by taking it, they furthered whatever mental illness they had by doing that. It might be medicine for you, might not. Just because it's and the whole it's natural. Poison ivy's natural. You're not smoking that, are you? Okay, calm down. So anyways, back and forth about that. She was well on her way in that regard. The difference now is that she's mean about it, and that's almost the entirety of the problem. The Devin Archer thing is what was up there next, and so Devin Archer is going to responsible DOJ. Devin, yeah, he's gonna speak to the thing today. Just lost his appeal of his fraud conviction, led him out of jail pending appeal. DOJ has now asked the judge to set a date for him to turn himself in. Comments for them testified. And naturally, there's a new DOJ. Yeah, right. Because is everybody they're going to bring in as a witness the actual criminal in the shit? Yeah, he's not. And by the way, the guy who ripped off a Native American tribe to the tune of what, $40 million? Yeah. Again, this is interesting just on this alone. So Devin Archer, what did and this is maybe the maggots can answer this. We may have some in the chat room that can answer this for me. We've yet to figure it out. Um, uh, Mary Jane, right? Um, so far, what we know of what Hunter Biden did with the money he made was he snorted it, paid hookers with it, bought stuff he couldn't afford, and then had to get rid of it. And I guess tried to jumpstart some. Well, no, he didn't really. No, I don't know. We have no evidence that he jumpstarted a business with it. It was just money coming in, and that money went to pay his bills, pay his for his living expenses, his back alimony, the payments to the mother of his child in Montana or wherever the shit she is. Um, but and that was it. Now he's painting, and that's that. All done. Um, Whereas Devin Archer, Tony Bobulinski, um, the only ones who are actually coming forward to testify in any way, the ones that are being asked to do this are people who have took the money that they made in Ukraine and other sources and turned it into criminal endeavors. I mean, especially Devin Archer. So, yeah, he's also not president. Exactly. I give a shit. You like Sterling Archer? Yeah, just Archer the show. Don't forget blinds and laptop repairs. That's true. That is true. Impeach Hunter. I agree. I don't think Hunter Biden should be allowed to run for president. I'm going to say it. I think we finally all agree, right? Fine. I'm sorry. I can't endorse Hunter Biden for president at this time. I will, however, be voting for Joe Biden again. Period. Are you going to cover the Pennsylvania? Yes. Yes. So thank you for bringing that up. Now, when is the question, because it's long or whatever. And I'm also trying to dig up, and we'll see if CSL can find it somewhere, the Iowa 10-minute speech that Trump gave. I don't know if it's anywhere. I haven't been able to find it. Apparently, according to like, and maybe it's easier than I thought. Maybe I'm just looking, and maybe like sometimes when I look shit up and I look for a Trump rally, this he does them like clockwork over the series of years, even when he was president. That I get the wrong, the dates right, but the years wrong. I love when everyone is happy. I agree, Kevin. As a matter of fact, that's why I went into comedy. It's also the ultimate design of my show. Because while we deal with very serious topics and in serious ways, I also want you to walk away smiling and feel like you can eat a meal and digest your food without, getting some sort of tummy rumble. Hunter's been psychologically evaluated, right? His behavior can only be explained via one what? Never let a Republican around a dead horse yet. Hunter should become the dude. You know what? Honestly, the funny part is because he's already grown. He's got a beard. Hunter Biden has a beard. I swear to God, if he grew his hair long, and and obviously I'm biased in this situation. If he grew his hair long and grew his beard out and started walking around in clothes that looked like the dude, they would have a way harder time going after him. I'm telling you how the town hall, Republican town hall. Yes, okay. We're going to cover this when I'm alone next week and we have a lot of catching up to do. You're going to see some all day streams where we're just covering shit for like hours and hours and hours. I might, Monday, Wednesday, Friday next week, I might end up just streaming all day as long as I can keep the room cool enough. Am I not wrong? Yes, Hunter, he does have a beard, but like he should grow it like long and scraggly and go, the dude abides. And literally, if I'm telling you, and any branding expert will tell you this, that if he walked around in like a white t-shirt and an overshirt, or like a bowling shirt and shorts and flip-flops holding a white Russian, he'd be untouchable. I'm dead serious. Yeah, it'll be a telethon. We're gonna raise money for the computer next week. Yes, Hunter does not always have a beard. That's what I'm saying. The Biden abides. Right. I'm telling you. Somebody how Amy Carter was. Oh yeah, absolutely. Or Chelsea Clinton when she was a kid. Like, am I wrong? Am I wrong? No, you're just an asshole. um, Need a computer tote board? It's true. Got that ZZ Top feeling. The dude of Biden's. I mean, if you want to talk about Anvil's Ghost, uh, that as a T-shirt, I'd get to work on that right away. I would go straight. Anvil's Ghost. Go leave this place immediately and go straight to Midjourney and start making pictures of Joe Biden as the dude, um, drinking a White Russian, um, with a bowling ball in his hand, and just go the dude of Biden's, and that meme alone would would add 2% to Biden's vote next year. I'm just telling you. And if you don't, I will. That you got a T-shirt that says that? Nice. Okay, but the picture on it, like it should be a picture of him with a bowling ball. Um. So yeah. Hello from TMP. Okay, bye. Going back. Thank you, Tony. Oh, there he is. Tony Michael's podcast. Hey, how are you? So Thursday. Um. The dude of Biden's. Um. I can get you a toe, dude, with or without nail polish. Uh, yeah, that's fucking interesting, man. I mean, that's fucking interesting. Standing on a rug, absolutely, or floating on one. La 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 la. Yeah, I'm just gonna go find a cash machine. That's one of my favorite lines. Um, Grant can't watch though; he has to pay 100. Hold on. Okay. Flynn, Roseanne, what's the fucking difference? Devin Archer, James Taylor, um, and Tony Bennett. Oh, there you go. Just writing about Tony Bennett. Oh man, Lee Sklar, man, one of the most well-known session bassists, largely because of his ace playing, but also his beard. Um, Tony asked me to get a different sound. Make sure he sees me flip this switch, and then I change my hand position a little, and they love it. That's hilarious. He just lies to them. You've got a friend. Um, like, here's the funny thing. Like, this is how a musician got laid in the early 70s. Like, everybody's like, he's so high, his eyes are half open all the time. He's exhausted from sex. They all were. Um, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend, but I always thought that I would see you one more time again. What is this? Matthew Cole, Delboy, and James Taylor, Rodney, both from Canada on their way to West. I don't know what that is. Oh, the onlookers, only fools. Okay. Something British. Who cares? Stranger Things to protest. Oh, that's good. So the cast of Stranger Things is coming out. That's lovely. Oh, Strange Things to protest. I thought the Stranger Things. I immediately saw Stranger Things. That's my bad. I read that too quickly. Pickleball. Yeah. There's no using pickle testicles to play a game is cruel. How dare you? Nintendo console. Worst. Oh, everybody's going through the in the hands of developers and will be targeting late 2024. The Stream Deck came out and people have been using that to like, that's just sad. This is one of the saddest gaming images I could possibly see. Look at this nonsense. Because you can't see the monitor in this. Look at this. What is it? What is that? A sensor on top of here so you can read your facial expressions, you crazy person. And then the game is plugged into this thing and you're playing with the hand controllers. You don't even pop out the sides and put them into a what, are you drunk? But did you know it's also a great dock, especially with the 6-in-1 USB Stream Deck? Good God, get out of here. You know my handheld device? Yeah, I plug it into my TV. Why don't you just get a TV device? Because I can't take my TV with me. All right, get out of my face. The Wii U. Why the fuck does everyone think the next generation would be the Switch 2 or whatever? Last time shit happened did not end well for Nintendo. Oh, I see, because they're... All right, fine. I mean, there's a lot of that. Like, things are getting so small, you can carry the thing around, and then you can take it out and plug it into your TV, and that's fine. But at least reuse the parts to the... Because on a Switch, you can slide the things off, and then you can slide them into a hand controller and use those. But no, waste plastic. See if I care. Robert Mueller is trending because Trump still thinks he's, I don't know. Let's see. Same as Russia. A fake crime, a crime they actually made up. They actually make up. You fight these false charges hard, and they try and get you on obstruction. We are dealing with sick and evil people. Hi, stupid. Blatantly cheating on camera with Ruby. Yeah, that's no, they're not. We've been through this. Asked and answered, stupid. Andy Bashir is leading his Trump-backed GOP opponent by 4 points in laser. Oh, that's all right. Yep. Hunter Biden can thank Robert Mueller if prosecuted under poorly defined. Okay. And Barr, because Barr was doing all this. These are this is basically X. Twitter has become just a shit posting site at this point. Come on in. Ugh. Him dancing is just so fucking gross. Yep, and there he is. Trump and Epstein. That's the part where he points at a girl, says something, and then he makes Epstein double over with laughter because that's a shame laugh. That's a guy going, come on, man, that's gross. You're being crazy. The fact that he is able to make Epstein go, get out, with whatever he said is incredibly telling. And the fact that Roseanne could not give one fuck about that is the part that bothers me. Like, I don't get, like, all this stuff. How refresh trends time. Oh, Paul Reubens passed? Oh, no. Oh, man. Last night, we said farewell to Paul Reubens, an iconic American actor, comedian, writer, and producer whose beloved character Pee Wee Herman delighted generations of children and adults with his positivity, whimsy, and belief in the importance of kindness. Paul bravely and privately fought cancer for years with his trademark tenacity and wit, a gifted and prolific talent. He will forever live in the comedy pantheon and in our hearts as a treasured friend and a man of remarkable character and generosity of spirit. That's, oh man. Please accept my apology for not going public with what I'm facing the last 6 years. I've always felt a huge amount of love and respect from my friends, fans, and supporters. I've loved you all so much and enjoyed making art for you. Paul Reubens. Paul asks that any expression of sympathy be made in honor of his late parents, Judy and Milton Rubenfeld, to Stand Up to Cancer or organizations involved in dementia and Alzheimer's care, support, and research. Oh, man. $70. Paul was, um, I don't know. Like, Paul is a fascinating dude because of the comedy circle around him, and I remember being angry on his behalf when I would see comics in the 80s, when I was doing, I started doing stand up when I was, 15 years old in clubs, there were guys who would impersonate Jack Nicholson and they would impersonate whomever. They just generally pull people's characters or people's, famous people. And then they would do Pee Wee Herman. And they would go, it's like Pee Wee Herman doing something, something. Or this is like, can you imagine Pee Wee Herman? I'm like, yes, I can. And I can imagine Paul Reubens, the man who created the character, doing that if he so chooses. He made it up. Pee Wee Herman is a character. It's not a person. The way he reacts, the way he acts, the way he says things, and all that stuff is a creation of, and a masterful creation of Paul Reubens. And it's why I don't do like, I can do Jiminy Glick and I can do Bobcat Goldthwait's character, and but I don't do them on stage for very specific reasons because they are creations of another person. And that always bothered me. That was, as a matter of fact, he's been a prime example my entire life of that line in comedy. You don't. And anybody who I guess somehow thought, that, well, there he is with Elvira, that the characters that he did, the character that he did was him, or that Pee Wee was a human being on their own, is ridiculous. That person is a ridiculous human being. They are a silly person, sillier than a real life real life Pee Wee Herman. Bless his heart. His overdramatic credit spanning death as Amelin in Buffy the Vampire Slayer remains one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Yeah, we're all gonna have to watch Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Maloner Dottie, a rebel. Yeah, bless his heart. Um, yeah, and I also, I get why he wouldn't want to share what he was going through, especially at his age. Because think about that 74 years old, he gets this diagnosis and it ultimately takes his life 6 years later. That he's fighting it throughout and he's trying to, and he has a conversation of it later, about it later. Um, but then on and off and fighting it and the stress of trying to like how to tell people about it without and then right about the time you might be wanting to tell people, somebody makes a big deal about their diagnosis or something about something else and you're like, oh god, people are going to think I'm just trying to get attention and I don't want to do that, and because he's obviously a good person. So bummer. Well, everybody, um send some love out to the sillies among you and anybody who's you know in a circle of friends who would be upset by this. He's shuffled off this mortal coil. um and it's one of those people. I feel like you know he's one of those people that if you were able to run up to him at some point and just tell him, nobody did, Stephanie, nobody knew he was sick, he kept it to himself. That's the point. I was around years old, 91. That didn't happen. Oh, when he was arrested for public indecency or whatever. Guys, it's a Paul Rubin death hoax. He still have. Oh, get out of here, quick. Um, yeah, at some point, um, we'll have to see if I don't know what kind of cancer it was, but over 20 years, cancer free, fuck cancer. Good on you, Brenda. What? Paul Rubens was not sick? What do you mean? All right, I'm not going to dive into this turning out to be some sort of awful Twitter monstrosity. Um, Here's what I would say is that the important part is appreciating people while they're here. Hal Sparks for mayor of City of Angels after Karen Bass. Exactly, Javier. That was the one thing I wasn't going to run against her. So as soon as she's done, I'm in like Flynn. True, 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 true. Just count on it. Ignore the drama, Hal. Jeebus. Yeah. Okay. I'm not. Yeah. Blah, blah. Uh, I would argue, yes. Love the people that are around you and let them know. Awkwardly and often, just constantly annoy them with the fact that you're glad they're around. It will pay far bigger dividends than ever than any minor ruffle where they're like, oh, okay, okay, you love me, I appreciate it. Good lord, you're from Vegas. No, I live here part time with my girl, but my residence is still in California. And this will more than likely be after the kids have both graduated. So, mm-hmm. Unique comedy is the best. Yes, not a hoax. I didn't think so because I mean you can see it's Mayor of Santa Monica. That's not a bad idea. You can move over afterwards. I will be in LA tomorrow for the Ultimate Jam Night. We will be celebrating the music of Abbey Road, songs recorded and made there and mixed there. There's a wide variety. Yes, Hal Sparks, man about towns. Um, I just realized you don't have any idea who I am. I'm Hal Sparks. This is Hal Sparks Megaworldwide. Normally my name would be right here, but my microphone is whatever. You just have to guess. Who's this guy? Who's the Who's the guy who looks like Lorenzo Lamas's stunt double in 1987? And I will take that as a compliment. The I'll just it'll be a mystery. It's okay. I doubt Her Majesty was as nice as suggested. I don't know. Yeah. I thought this was the L's Parks channel, right? Renegade. There you go. Yeah, we saw that, Brenda, and so we're watching Pee Wee's Big Adventure. I don't think my son has seen that movie, so we will watch it today. He's about the age where he'll get the jokes for the most part. No Aerosmith version of Come Together, I hope. Lennon Masterpiece. Well, I will be singing it and we will be playing it with regular instrumentation. But yes, we are doing Come Together tomorrow. Mayor of Mega World. Well, that's currently my gig, right? So here's what I will say. We're good. We're okay on time. This afternoon, I will be doing part of one of Trump's rally things, or that speech, if we can find it, of the Iowa 10-minute thing. There's so much that I didn't get to cover last week in my travels with the extra time that I wanted. And like I said, next week you guys are going to be sick to death of me. Let me show you a couple stories though in the interim, if I may. And this came up. Here you go. This is Bloomberg. Here you go. This is the part that stood out to me. Can anybody see? Perhaps. Hold on. I'll scroll this down and we'll go to the other frame because that'll work. Whatever we go to here. This business right here. Anybody notice anything in this part of the story that lines up with what I have been saying for years? I'm not asking that people apologize. I'm not. I don't need it. I'm fine. I'm enjoying being right so much that it would almost take some of the fun out of it. But I would like the Maria Bartiromos of the world to have to read headlines like this on the air. I want everybody to who wrote a China's gonna eat our lunch storyline. I want them to read that story right next to this. I love this too. May be ending. You think? China economic recovery weekend spurring measures from Beijing. This could have been written a year ago. Didn't work then either. Everything China is doing to juice its flagging economy. Now, again, let me go back to the trendages here. This would be this guy right here. This, okay, terms of service. Okay, this. Whew. Does this sound like an admission that you're the number two economy, or that your economy is number two right now? That's the thing. So everything China is doing to juice its flagging economy. Jesus Christ, July 31st, 2023, and I mean, how right do I have to keep being before people go, I don't know, the Sparks guy, he was calling it all. Everybody else was saying this fucking nonsense. He was in China. He came back from there. Lover of all things culturally Chinese. Big fan. Massive sinophiliacal tendencies. Lover of kung fu and feng shui. And an often consumer of Din Tai Fung and the books, The Three Kingdoms and Confucian philosophy. Love all that. Love all that. The government, though, ain't that. Just saying. And it was always ain't that since Mao took over. It's been increasingly ain't that. And it's under Xi Jinping, it's as far from that stuff as you could ever get. If this asshole had his way, they would be eating Soviet food, wearing Soviet clothes, and in Soviet buildings from 1940. Period. I don't know if being raised during the Cultural Revolution or around it made him hate Chinese culture and just despise it everywhere he sees it. He just is disgusted by it. But he is. And there's just no coming off of it. There's no off-ramp. He's going to continue down this road until all of Chinese society, as it has been known for thousands of years, is completely wiped out. And the only existing, culturally Chinese things that will still exist in China will be the equivalent of the difference between Harley Davidson motorcycles and Harley Davidson theme restaurants. Chinese culture being the motorcycles, China in its current state being the theme restaurants, the t-shirts. China has made a number of pledges recently to revive the economy's recovery. Revive the economy's recovery. Boy, is that a shitty phrase. Ugh. And improve the business environment as concerns about the growth outlook continue to mount. I'm amazed they're still using this phrase, the growth outlook. The fuck are you talking about? The statements from the government and Communist Party over the past month are largely broad assurances to lift spending on things like consumer goods and cars, encourage private companies to expand investment, and to make it easier for businesses to access funding. However, Beijing has stopped short of announcing major monetary or fiscal stimulus. Yeah, it's basically like, good luck with that. Hey, you guys, fix our shit. We'll be over here treating women like garbage and burying what's left of our culture. Like cash subsidies to consumers to spend more, or ramping up of construction spending like it did in previous downturns. And by the way, this part, they didn't ramp up construction spending in previous downturns. They did it willy-nilly using money from foreign investment, whether they needed it or not. So they had bridges going to nowhere. They had trains going to places where there aren't enough people to even bring back on the fucking train. They built shit just to build shit so that the world would go, oh my God, they're building so much. They must be rich. We must do business with them. Their consumer base is going to expand like crazy. And they're like, if we keep building, they'll think our consumer base is going to expand like crazy. And then it didn't, because it was never going to. Okay, here's a snapshot of the recent measures. Consumer goods. 13 government departments outline a plan on July 18 to boost household spending on everything from electric appliances to furniture. What were the measures? On July 28th, three government agencies outlined a plan to boost household spending on everything from and get people should access better credit to buy household products according to measures announced. Local authorities are encouraged to help residents refurbish their homes. So let me get this right. The CCP, the federal government of China, is telling the states, effectively, the provinces, or even smaller constabularies like mayors and whatnot, or whatever, the city managers, to encourage, or they're going to encourage them to help residents refurbish their homes. The fuck does that mean? I mean that materially. We're going to write something down where we're going to encourage them to help them help them. We're not going to help them, but we encourage them to help them help them. Well, they're in bigger debt than we are. The provinces themselves have $11 trillion of debt and no singular way of paying it back because it's all based on Chinese real estate, which is owned by the CCP. Oh, God. Fucking stupid. Okay. And people should get better access to credit to buy household products. They should, sure. Okay. Are you going to do anything about that? No? Well, then why are you telling? That's not monetary. That's not stimulus. That's not even a government action. That's not even a finger wag. That's not like, well, you guys better ease up on that credit shit so that people can buy stuff or we're going to come after you. They're not even doing that. According to the measures announced. All right. We'll take, okay, I'm going to have to read this later, obviously. China's new consumption plan maybe do little to, this is the boost household spending. This link right here, this hyperlink goes to this article. China's new consumption plan may do little to boost growth. You think? 11-point package intended to spur spending on home goods. 11-point package, Jesus Christ. China's retail sales flatline. This is the drop, and they're not flatlining. They're barely keeping up where they need to be, which is right around here. They actually need to be up here, but retail demand is weak, undermining economy this year, you think? 11-point package is aimed at unleashing the potential of household consumption. Potential is collapse in this case, according to a statement issued by the Ministry of Commerce website. The measures are very small steps, said Larry Hu, the head of the China Economics and Macquarie Group Limited, adding that policies targeting property and infrastructure would likely have a bigger impact on the economy. Yeah, except the last time they did an infrastructure spend in China, and I shit you not, the last time China did a big infrastructure spend, and they were like, we're going to dump some money into this, this jump started like a year and a half ago. You know what they spent it on? Surveillance. That was the infrastructure. Not fixing roads and bridges and building dams and that kind of stuff. Nope. They hung cameras and attached cable to them and attached those to central viewing centers and then put one person there to watch 6,000 screens and go, that's it. Fucking human pong. Just terrible. How many in chat use the 23andMe genetic test, similar test? All that data went right to China. Yeah, but it didn't. I mean, they're not going to reprogram you. It's stored there. That's what the cloud storage is. Let's see. That's why you don't turn on all the the medical awareness stuff. Anyways, home improvement stocks were among the biggest gainers. Major furniture, the Red Star rose 1.4% in Hong Kong. That's not helping mainland China, you big dummy. All right. On July 28th, three government agencies outlined a plan to increase manufacturing of small consumer goods, or the so-called light industry sector, which makes up more than a quarter of China's exports. Steps will be taken to increase sales of green and smart home goods in rural areas. That's what everybody needs. If I can, solar phone chargers out in rural China where they still, everybody's broom has 4 spindles on it. Good Lord. Expand the use of battery products in electric cars, power stage, and telecommunications. It's because they have them left over, fuck's sake. This is not... They're trying to expand the consumer base for shit that they copied from other companies that were working there that they were selling to Africa and other places, but they can't ship them there anymore because they're either because of sanctions or because of other stuff that's going on. They can't or won't buy them in a lot of the old places. So they're trying to sell it to locals, and they're trying to package it as something we're trying to help you out, but they're just dumping it on them. Nobody wants the batteries that blow up in your car. They don't want the BYD batteries. So where the fuck are they going to go? They're not going to any of the countries that can afford to buy electric cars in mass. Europe and the United States, Canada and Mexico. Maybe some parts of Brazil. They're not going there because nobody wants to sit on top of a bonfire sitting at a traffic light. Property. Good Lord. The Communist Party's Politburo. Again, why the fuck are you? They even use the name. China should have its own. They use the same Marxist language, but why? Which wasn't even in English in the first place. And I don't know. It's weird. Okay, its top decision-making body signaled an ease of property policies at its July meeting. The official readout omitted President Xi Jinping's signature slogan that houses are for living, not for speculation. Yeah, this is what started the fucking crash. Tell me again about how this guy is top of his game. Is nobody could no. There's no right out of central casting. That nonsense. Houses are for living, not for speculation. I told you guys the issue they had in China. The only thing you can invest in China is real estate. You can't buy stocks and all that other stuff. If you invest in a company, the government wants half of it, so nobody trusts it. You're going to be paying so much graft, you go broke getting rich. That's the idea. And if anybody makes it, the government will just cut your head off. Essentially, or you'll disappear for a bunch of months and get your feet beaten with reeds until you agree to give them 80% instead of 50%. Ask Jack Ma. But anyways, that houses are for living, not for speculation thing was the people would, anybody with money would go, okay, well, one area we have population growth, allegedly, at the time. That's what they were being told by their own government, and world over, everybody bought it. So they had the rest of the world saying we're growing like crazy. It must be true. It wasn't at all. But they were like, we'll buy these houses and then we'll sell them for more. And that's it went from, it's a good investment to the bigger sucker theory that there'll always be a bigger sucker than me that I can sell it to for a profit. It's the same thing Bitcoin runs on. And so everybody started buying houses. And then they're like, oh shit, people are leveraging, they're borrowing money from relatives to buy more houses, and these houses are empty. They're not even, and the property companies that are building them aren't actually building full houses, and they're just leaving them half built, and there's no glass, and they're rotting before they ever make it, and there's mold, and nobody's ever going to live in this fucking thing. So your investment's going to be worth shit. So this crash is coming. There's no avoiding it. So they said, okay, nobody can buy, like married couples, because they have the most money. Married couples, you cannot buy more than, one house as a couple. You can buy your house, and then you can buy one more house for, the theory is, your son, so that he can get married. And you're allowed to do that. Single people could buy as many houses as they want because I guess it's not a social cohesion issue, and they're just making money. So, massive divorce. Everybody started getting divorced and still living together. So all these couples got divorced so that they could individually continue to buy houses. And the speculation kept going. So it built and built and built until they did the 3 red lines, and they're like, stop it. And he put this, houses are for living, not for speculation. Buy homes as an investment. Well, you do if you're allowed to own it. But if you're technically only leasing it from the government, even for 99 years, everybody sees the wall at the end of the lease. And when it's a government like Xi Jinping, and he's like, I'm going to be president for life, and anybody after me is going to be taught by me, and I'm going to control who gets to the front line, it's going to get even worse. And at some point, private property is going to be illegal. And so this investment, there's going to be a wall at some point, and nobody wants to be the last person to purchase this thing before the wall. Fucking hell. On July 27th, China's housing minister urged financial regulators, lenders, okay, blah, blah, blah. We've talked about this. China's slowing momentum. Does this look like momentum? Or if you squint, does it look like a straight line if you get far enough out? What the fuck does this matter if this happens? What the fuck does this matter if this happened? It was already, look where it is. It's on its way back up to taking a shit in 2019. It was already doomed. The problem was in place before COVID. And these numbers are just a reflection of the previous. These are percentages. This is like this fallacy that like we lost 7% last year, but we had 14% growth this year. Okay. Did you really? Or did you just level back out to 7% because everything corrected itself? Well, technically, it went down 6.9%. GDP growth year on year was down 6.9%. And quarter on quarter, it was down 10. And you get over to here, and you get quarter on quarter, growth year on year, it's up 18%. And quarter on quarter, woof, 0.7. Of course, the quarter on quarter peaked here. So I guess that's where we would look at it. 11, yeah. Basically down 10, up 11. What does that give you? 1% through the center. And what's your margin of error? 2%? Fucking hell. By the way, thanks for watching. It's the Housebarks Morning Show, Megaworldwide. I'll have graphics up later, but thank you to everybody who's supporting the show. And if you Venmo and you'd like to Venmo, please Venmo the show so that we can build a new computer. I think that's what next week will be about. We're going to do a big fundraiser for the thing, and I'll annoy you with constantly if I remember to say it. So, Hal, article on Salon, great leap backward. So much for the next dominant superpower. The Chinese century is over. Facing upside down. China's heading off a cliff by Joe published July 3rd. K-Link, I love you. Thank you for bringing that up. Pow! I mean, how many times, what was I saying? What have I been saying for a couple of years now? Do we not? All right. I'm going to, and this is, yes. And I'm standing in my hot little office doing my show against the tiny green screen that I still have a halo around myself. So I look a bit like I could be Kal-El's crystal. Kal-El, my son. Hidden in these crystals is the history of your planet Krypton. Hidden in these crystals is the kidney. So, yeah, how can you lose a casino? Put it in New Jersey. A bunch of people put casinos in New Jersey, and they still didn't lose them. That dude did. It does know. It absolutely knows. You look as good as Kal-El's. Thank you. I actually have one of those, and I was like, if I had a blue screen instead of a green screen, I would use it as a prop all the time. Because I use it. Where is it? Here it is. And you'll never be able to see it because it's this. But it'll make it invisible. Watch this. Like I'm holding it up right now. See how it's like you can't see it because it's actually, this is actually the shape of, I swear to God, it's like, now it looks all naughty. It's here, this is a slim version of it because it's like a knife. See this? It's like a knife. It's one of the crystals, and it's like a remake of it, and I use it as a joke talisman, like yeah, it looks clear. It's not clear because it's green, and so it gets greened out. I just realized it's a little bit untoward. How could easily, without much effort, be Klingon every Halloween? Thanks, Lauren. I appreciate that. Mosh Choi Chu. So, kneel before Zod. Green crystal, green screen. Kal-El, my son. Hidden in this green screen is the history of your planet Krypton. So, please subscribe. By the way, to wherever you subscribe. I've been terrible at reminding people to do that. I will do it more in the afternoon show. Share it and pair it if you can. Share it and pair it. PARROT. Let everybody know because you're my PR agent right now. I made a valiant attempt and an expensive one to bring on a PR agent to help with the show, and the end result after a year was one podcast a month. Magic. So I if yes. I just remind you your pills. Okay. Yes, yes, and carrot. Yes, share it, parrot, or carrot. That's the threat. What? Did I get a chance to check out Justified? I have not because it's a series and I can't dive into it, but I will. It's on my list, believe me. Um, let's see. We're spreading the word. Thank you. I appreciate it. I was against the publicist just saying, I know, Mark. I understand. But I am talking to Brian Karam, our dear friend, this week about possibly joining him on a possible podcast of podcastiness that is new and going forward. So fingers crossed that'll turn into a something, and leading into the sexy liberal gathering. I also will be doing a fundraiser for Carl Frisch on the 23rd of September in Washington, D.C., doing stand-up for people who want to support him and are in the area and who want to come down and see the show and all that kind of stuff. And I will be sticking around in town. And I think we're going to try and time it. We might be able to get press creds for my birthday. Carl Frisch. He's been on Steph's show a bunch of times and that kind of thing. And he ran for school board in DC. So there, I'm there for Carl's event. Hal already got my ticket. That's great, Mark. So yes, I'm going. Yeah, I'm going to. I hope that happens. I'm very excited about that as a potential. And then so I'll be there a long weekend. My birthday weekend, and then depending on the timing of it, when we do the jam, either the Tuesday before or the Tuesday after. I think it'll probably be the Tuesday before, but more than likely. Where do I sign up? Yeah, Boston Brian, you can come down. Like it's a train ride, man. I'm just saying, it's a thing. We need a Hal Fest in Las Vegas. I agree. We'll make that happen at some point. So, thanks, Ed. I was amazing, and the Nick and I doing improv on those scenes was a joy. And it was one day in a Guitar Center where everybody knew me because I'd bought stuff there. So that said, we're going to miss the wonky donk. Oh yes, I miss. Well, Jackie Scheckner has moved to a new gig as well. That's where Travis went to work with her, and hopefully that means she can now be a guest on stuff. I would love to bring her in on some of the healthcare stuff because she and I were big advocates of the public option, and I think my feeling is that either in the early part of next year, and depending on who's running and why, Biden will will like re-engage on the public option and go, we need the votes, and just leave it at that. Because it's true. Like there's no way to get it through in the current balance of power. Certainly not in the House, but definitely, in the Senate, you're going to need a few more. But once you do, the Mitt Romneys of the world and the like are, a pro-public option. You will have enough people to counter the, maybe Joe Manchin being against it, which I doubt. I don't think he'll be against it. But I think he'll bring it up in the spring and go, we would love to do this. We need more Democrats in there, period, end of story. Because the Republicans, as they stand, will not vote for it on a level. We have a few people, but it won't be enough. They're overridden by the crazies in their party. We need more Dems in there. Or we need Republicans who say they are for a public option to come forward, which they can't do because they will be pilloried by the lunatics. So it's all that, right? Did you ever meet the lab rats guys? Really? So Manchin's not likely to be a senator by 2025. No, he'll still be there. Hi, Hal. Are they going to neuter the wannabe king shit? Yes. That's not going to fly. Don't worry about it. Anyways, let's see. Lisa Evans loves some Russians. more heroic than U.S. imperialism. What? um, yeah, the Russians. What is Russian imperialism? Okay, because what do you like? More rape? That's the problem. Americans don't rape enough for you. We stopped doing that shit apparently in Vietnam, and since then it's been depressing for you. And you're like, who's going to carry the rape squad weight in the world if not for the Russians? Well, at least we know who you're rooting for. That's the important thing. So, I predict a 91% accuracy to help prediction. Thank you. I think that's how it's going to go. He's going to bring it up because they need the votes. They will not, he won't be able to push it through. Screw colonists. Yes, apparently everybody believes screw colonists until it's Russians invading Ukraine, in which case it's neighborly. So, is heroic a loose term for stupidity? Well, I mean, you know, bravery. What is like? There's a theory in some ways that bravery is ethically purposeful stupidity. What I'm about to do in every other circumstance would be just absolutely stupid, but it's got to be done. Yes, Paul Reubens did pass. We spoke about that earlier, and everybody is assigned to watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure. So yeah, you like that term? So again, heroism is a beautiful thing, but at its essence, it is knowing better but doing it anyways. That's by other definitions when it's purposeless. Basically, it's more like the other way around. Stupidity is being a hero for no reason. You're a wise ass, outspoken opinion. We love, respect, appreciate. Oh, thank you so much. Why are you always right every damn time? Well, because I don't wait. I'll tell you why, Wes. Because I don't want to waste your fucking time. Because the most valuable thing you have on this earth is your time. And if you give some of it to me, I'm not going to waste it. If you're here and and you're here for a certain amount of information or for me to, explain something that's either complicated or predictable, then I have a responsibility to you. That's why. That's the only reason why. So there. That's it. I'm trying to use the phone. Right. You're a hero when it works out, a chump when it doesn't. Not necessarily. Because you can be a dead hero. There are dead heroes. And fucking time is particularly valuable. It is. Absolutely. Yes, it is. In particular, yes. Because you could be. I know you don't think so. Sometimes people think that. I wish I could be, but you can. More than likely you can. One last comment from Maddie. Keep fuck bombing the MAGA losers. I will. I love that they don't like my language and that I have a potty mouth apparently. Buzz off. So, yes, we saw that, Gilbert. We spoke about that earlier. Some people are just kicking in. Welcome. Glad you could be here. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show, etc., etc., etc. What I was, let's see if I'm, there was something else I was going to show you guys before the, is it in here? Hunter Biden told oversight DOJ is that they have the last laugh over the DOJ. Hunter Biden's longtime friend and business partner, Devin Archer, says he was told by Biden in 2018 that both of them would have the last laugh in criminal probes against them. The promise came in a text message exchange after Archer's conviction for defrauding a Native American tribe was thrown out. It was later reinstated by an appeals court and sentenced to a year. The sentence has been delayed by further appeals. Apparently, Archer... the reason Biden said this was because this wasn't about him ripping off a Native American tribe. I guess. Well, we'll see. Hold on. We'll look at it. A sentence that has been delayed by further appeals. Archer is testifying before the House Oversight Committee on Monday and is expected to detail allegations about Joe Biden's dealings with dozens of his son's business associates while he was vice president. Responding to Archer's 2018, Hunter Biden said, Thank fucking God. First good news in way too long, my good friend. I'm so happy for you. I know it's been a living hell, but put it behind you now and take great steps forward. Hunter Biden then referred to the Department of Justice as motherfuckers. I swear to God, we'll have the last laugh. He does. You do remember who was president in 2018 and who was running the DOJ? Anybody remember? I love that they're gonna first again. Hunter Biden's not running for office, never ran for office, isn't part of the government. Don't give a shit. Private citizen, who cares? That said, Trump says the same things about the DOJ now, and they're like, go, go, go. But a private citizen says it about the DOJ in 2018 when they're obviously being targeted by Trump, and they're like, oh, no, oh, oh dear, oh dear. He's did you hear what he called the Department of Justice? As Fox News pointed out, 2018 text changed thousands of emails. Exchange between Hunter Biden and Archer doesn't front and center, and the Archer goes for them. To testify behind closed doors, meeting with Biden. Read the full report on Fox News. Fine. There we go. Fox News report. Okay, so this is their report. Hunter Biden told Devin Archer they would get the last laugh after conviction was thrown out. Motherfuckers. Biden praised Archer in emails, calls him a great friend through thick and thin in a 2014 email. Hey, anybody that had a friend or somebody they knew, somebody they hung out with? I'm talking to you, Walt Nada. Anybody have a friend that 4, maybe 6, maybe 8 years ago, maybe 10, 9 years ago, you're like, fucking ride or die, you guys rule. And after that, you're like, not so much. Anybody? That ever happened to nobody's ever had a friend in, especially in a high stakes endeavor, that you were like, we're in this thick and thin, and then time passes and you're like, wait a second, you did what? Okay, Hunter Biden, that could go both ways, I'm just saying. All right, Hunter Biden told his longtime friend and business partner Devin Archer they would get the last laugh after Archer said a judge threw out his conviction. Archer is set to appear before the House Oversight Committee on Monday and is reportedly preparing to tell lawmakers about the thank fucking God. Love your brother, Archer said. Hunter Biden, son of President Biden, then appeared to refer to the Department of Justice as motherfuckers and said they will have the last laugh. I swear to God, we'll have the last laugh. I know and I mean it. Can I please come see you now that I'm not a felon? Don't answer that. Just when and where. Hunter joked that he liked Archer better as a felon and that he was in Newburyport, Massachusetts for the next week to but call him. Just threw out my conviction today. Right. That's life. And then he, oh shit. Come on. Come on. Judge threw out my conviction today. And Hunter Biden responded by playing Frank Sinatra's That's Life. That's life. Ooh, ah. That's how you lived it. And now you little brains are here to defend it. Defend it. All right. I love it. They both. Thank fucking God. First good news in a long time. My friend, I love you, brother. Very much, man. Motherfucker. I swear to God, we'll have the last laugh. Don't answer just when and where. I like you better as a felon, and you know it. I'm in Newburyport. Like, again. 20, like, I think they're just mad because the exchanges between Trump and his kids don't have this much connection. 2018 text exchange, thousands of emails exchanged between Hunter Biden and Archer, dozens of business associates over the course of a decade will be front and center, blah, blah, blah. They've had him forever. If there was anything in them, they'd be like, aha. Devin Archer believes strongly in the rule of law and democratic system, is prepared to answer the committee's question, just as he's always answered so many questions, as Archer's attorney, Matthew Schwartz, said this past week. Archer's intimate knowledge of the business arrangements comes after years working closely with Hunter, including the board of the Ukrainian national gas firm Burisma. He also co-founded investment firm Rosemont Seneca Partners alongside the president's son, U.S. President envoy, Christopher Hines. Archer co-founded BHR Partners in 2013, a joint venture between Rosemont Seneca Partners and a Chinese investment firm, Bohai Capital. BHR Partners is a Beijing-backed private equity firm controlled by the Bank of China Limited. Months after Hunter and Archer joined the Burisma board, Hunter expressed gratitude for Archer's friendship in an unprompted email. Who does that? Who joins a company and then goes, hey man, thanks for giving me a job? Just want to let you know, at the risk of sounding melodramatic, how much I love you. You have been a great friend through thick and thin. I want to know how much I appreciate it. He said, Archer, I know I haven't been I've made it easy being my partner at times, but more than anyone else outside my brother, you have been there for me. And don't worry, I'm not planning on jumping off a bridge or anything. Just thought I would let you know how much your friendship means to me. Love, H. Thank you, my brother. I genuinely appreciate that, and I'm really excited about what's ahead for us and our families, and very happy being. When was this? What year was this? 2014? Okay, cool. Thank you, my brother. Genuinely pretty good. April, Fox News digital report. At least 4 business partners, vice president, and 2 assistants. Rosemont Senniger visited the White House more than 80 times when Biden was vice president, including Archer. Archer visited Joe Biden at least twice in 2009, 2014 during his vice presidency. The December 2009 visit was a holiday reception at Biden's vice presidential residence. The April 2014 visit was with Biden in the West Wing. Archer also played golf with Biden and Hunter at least once during the Obama administration in August 2014 in the Hamptons. You know what shit happens on golf courses. Archer also attended Biden's holiday party at Biden's vice presidential. Yeah, we saw that. Fox News previously reported that Biden met at least 14 of his business associates. Yeah, that doesn't mean he's in business with them. I don't care. Archer is facing legal issues of his own. Despite his conviction being thrown out in 2018, it was reinstated in the Second Circuit Court of Appeals a month before the 2020 election. One of the reasons why they think it was thrown out was because that they thought they could use him as a wedge against Hunter at one point. And he's like, hey, if we let you go, maybe you'll throw some shit our way. And he didn't. And they're like, oh, well, then fuck this guy. And then it was reinstated by the Second Circuit Court of Appeals a month before the 2020 election. A month before, the 2020 election. Let me show you that again. Back this down. There you go. Now, why would the you want to talk about, you know how they talk about how like every time Trump gets an indictment, Hunter Biden gets, they I don't know, it's to cover Hunter being charged with something or blah blah blah. That seems to be their response. This doesn't seem weird to them. They didn't as soon as Trump got in, he started the wheels rolling. He got his people in place. He started doing shit and, building the wall and caging kids and all the stuff that he was going to do and forcing Mexico to give us soldiers for free or some shit. And then, which never happened. But it was reinstated by that they, at one point, throw out his conviction in 2018, like, play ball and we'll help you out. We'll give you a deal. And these people, right? I want to undermine Ukraine as much as you did back in the day. And then it was reinstated a month before the 2020 election. And he was sentenced to a year and a day in prison last February because the ball started rolling again. But I love the fact that nobody brings that shit up. Look at that. The Second Court of Appeals a month before the 2020 election. He's expected to report to prison soon for his role in defrauding a Native American tribal entity and various investment advisory clients of tens of millions of dollars in connection with the issuance of bonds by the tribal entity and the subsequent sale of those bonds through fraudulent and deceptive means, according to the Department of Justice. He was convicted last February, but his sentence has been postponed by a series of appeals. We have a two-tier justice in the system in this guy. U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York on Saturday wrote to Abrams requesting her to schedule a date for Archer to report to prison. However, a DOJ letter says Archer's counsel argued it was premature to set a sentencing date, citing Archer mulling over further appeals. Attorneys for Hunter Biden and Archer did not respond to Fox News digital inquiries because why would anybody respond to Fox News digital calling them? Hi, this is Fox Nation. Stop laughing. Quit it. This is Fox Nation. Yes, the website. Hello? So, the former guy is a slicer. Is Olympia still around? Remedial truth. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. I voted for Billy's brother, Jim, my first election ever. Clear he should have run. Yeah, that's what I want to know. Why didn't Devin Archer run for president? Apparently. How the fuck are people in here who didn't vote in 2015 complain about MAGA is beyond me? Seriously. So one of the things that I wrote in, and we'll end on this because I've only got a couple minutes left and I got to, feed the famine, feed the fam and not famine, whatever, feed the fam and prep for this afternoon show. But one of the things that I brought up was what I would call the stroke of the pen fallacy, which is incredibly dangerous in politics and in the languaging around politics. The illusion that just by the stroke of a pen, someone can do something. 90% of the time that's brought up as an idea, it is absolute horseshit. And it usually only applies when somebody is rich enough to write a check. There's an idea that Elon Musk could end homelessness by writing a check for $40 billion. In theory, because that's the idea of how much it would cost. The problem is he would hand that money out to the states that needed it the most, and he would have to trust that those states, among them, by the way, far more red states than blue states that would need, subsidy money to solve it, that you'd have to trust them to actually spend it on the thing. That's where it gets difficult. It isn't just the writing of the check, although that would certainly help. So if he wants to, if I guarantee, if he goes, I'm selling X Twitter to anybody, and I'm selling it for $40 billion, and I'm going to give that $40 billion to solve homelessness, he'd sell it in an afternoon for that amount, probably to the U.S. government. But anyways, point being is that this idea that you could just write a check or you could just sign something and it fixes it is most of the time a ridiculous lie. It's a silly idea, especially when it comes to a democracy. When you have a dictator, there's an idea that maybe they can rubber stamp some shit, but if they can, they already have. And if you don't like how things are, it's because they've already done that. They've already signed it. That's what Putin's doing. That's what Xi Jinping is doing. That's what a lot of dictators do. Like, they could just do this because they're a dictator. They could make it happen. That's what George W. Bush was like. It'd be a lot easier if I was the dictator, that whole business. No, it wouldn't. Because if you were a dictator and you were in a governmental system where a dictator could do those kind of things, the shit you would have already done would have caused the problem itself, and you wouldn't say it was your fault. You certainly wouldn't claim responsibility for it, and you certainly wouldn't want to solve it if it benefited you and the ruling class and all that stuff. It's just stupid. Anyways, so the point I'm trying to make is that you see this a lot on our side. Where it shows up on the right is usually in like impeachment, I turned in a thing to impeach Joe Biden. I put it down there, and that all they have to do is vote on it, and it's all done. And no, there's a huge part of it, and you want some of this stuff to be slow moving, so you can actually stabilize with your fucking life. Anybody who lives in an earthquake zone knows you want the Earth's crust to move as slowly as possible. So, yeah, 40 billion is supposedly could solve it. Now, it wouldn't. It would temporarily fix it. For a while, it wouldn't. But the idea is that you could create housing or spend housing, just enough to get people out. And then when that money runs out, 60 to 70% of the people who are already homeless would go back to being homeless. And then new people who become homeless because of other shit would fall into it, because that's humanity. The issue is to solve for each individual problems. Homeless people are not a tribe. We've had this conversation before. Point I'm trying to make is, it creates this lie, which is insidious on two fronts. And Marianne Williamson is particularly bad around this lie. But the Sanders folks did the same shit. And many of the people who are believe that with a stroke of the pen, Obama could protect the DACA recipients, or Clinton could have created a don't ask, don't tell executive order. But without law to back it up, you're asking people who are gay in the military to come forward. And then if the next person doesn't like it, they're fucked because they've already come out. And they go, well, you know what? We changed our mind. And since we know you're gay now and you told everybody, get the fuck out. And P.S. you were lying on your form when you said you weren't gay, and therefore you don't get your pension. Like, that's why you can't stroke of the pen. That's why you can't stroke of the pen a lot of issues away. But there are a bunch of people who sell that idea. If I was in there with a stroke of and Trump is doing this like crazy. On day one, like the dumbest one is obviously on the day one, I'm going to put together a commission. And then you're like, then tell me he's not just a fucking politician. We'll talk later. But that ongoing thing is like, we just stroke of the pen, is what I would call I guess it would be on a global scale. That's the mythological fallacy. The myth that someone in power could write that check, could, with a stroke of a pen, write a bill that would solve that right away, right? They just won't. Because if they could, and they could do it quickly, there must be a reason. And the only reason is, if they could just do it that simply, is that they don't want it solved because they're evil. That's it. That's the only conclusion you can come, or that they never even thought of it. Well, if you can say it, I don't know, fucking phone them up. Oh shit, I didn't realize. Wait, there's a form right in here. Solve that problem. I didn't even realize. Thank you, Marianne Williamson. Go solve problem, which you could apparently do. I had no idea. Thank God you were around to remind me of this mythological, magical fucking fix. And then this, and the second one being is that none of them believe that. Especially Marianne, especially some of the hardcore Sanders folks. And this has been around in the, I don't know what the fuck TYT is up to these days, but their entire mythology they've been pushing for decades, or Kyle Kalinske and a lot of these other folks, is that stroke of a pen. They won't do it, not because they can't, but because they could really quickly, and they're just evil. They just don't want to help. They could make a public option with the stroke of a pen, and they won't do it. And if they won't do it, it's because they just want people to die. Like, they're immediate to the worst possible moral judgment of another human being. It's so fucking dumb. And it happens all the time. It's childish. It's grotesque. Isn't reflected in life in any meaningful way in any other circumstance, right? So the other one is the flip of the switch. That there's the inversion, I would say, is this idea that Trump voters who go to multiple rallies are somehow indicative of a giant underlying substructure. It's capitalism, Hal, bottom line? No, it's not. Because market economics is not capitalism in that terms, and the term for capitalism, where it comes from, is meaningless, especially in an idea and information-based society like we live in, because everybody's got a gold mine between their ears if they bother to fucking use it, that's as good as or better than gold. Once you could patent something, the concept of capitalism that Marx had vanishes. So, and it was where he was, and the government owned everything that you made, that you had to become the government to own what you made, and then everybody had to do it, and because, hey, that was my idea, sounds like shit when you're all starving to death. It's just, again, old systems, old definitions, they don't really work. But the other one is the flip of the switch. When it comes down to it, with all the wailing and gnashing of teeth that we all get to do as part of the show, and understanding issues and the like, when it comes down to voting, everybody gets the same number of flips of the switch. 1. I don't give a fuck if you go to 90 Trump rallies, you only get to flip the switch once. I don't care how many red hats you have or stupid fucking Trump flags you attach to your car, you get to flip the switch once. And so do I. So, in my way of thinking, the best effort that we can all participate in is making sure that everybody flips the switch, and they flip it honestly, and they're able to do it with as few, cumbersome barriers between them and doing it as possible, and that they, again, make the best decision available to them in the reality that they are facing. That's where the idea that if you're ever presented with a decision you believe is the lesser of two evils, choose less evil, came from. Because everybody gets a flip of the switch. And if you have this switch and you're like, I refuse to flip it, you take that flip of the switch on your side, your beliefs, everything that you invest in, you just flat out, I'm not flipping the switch. Well, the other person who doesn't need all that to be true, understands there are no perfect candidates, or believes that in the sort of king and cult fallacy around Donald Trump, that he is the perfect candidate, they're going to flip that switch. And that's it. All the wailing and gnashing of teeth and all the tweeting and all that kind of stuff is great in the conversation of it. But when it boils down to it, everybody gets one flip of the switch, and God damn it, we're all flipping that switch next time. And we're making the best choice available to us, period, end of story. And if everybody wants to have this argument that, well, it's a dimmer switch, get the fuck out of here. It's a switch. One day, when AI runs everything and you can choose your user interface for the world because you never leave the house because you have a big fucking jar put over your head, that you live in an AR, an augmented reality version of your life all the time, and you can pretend you have rights you don't have because you're hooked up to a tube all the time. I don't care. Then fine. Life's on a dimmer, and there's a myriad of gradations between off and on. But right now, in reality, where people's lives are on the line, either flip the switch, or you don't flip the switch. And I don't want to hear any shit about it. And anybody who's like, well, does it really matter? Yes, it fucking matters. Of course it does. So, anyways, you guys know this is how I feel. And going into next year when Sexy Liberal is out on the road, I'm going to be a fucking beast about this because it matters. Yep. And yeah, look at 2016, look at the Supreme Court. Anybody who tells you, well, yeah, I mean, this should be third. Yeah, there should be. Great, cool, that's awesome. And you know what? It would be nice if humans could hold their breath. We don't need gills, but we do breathe air above water. And it'd be nice if we could hold our breath a lot longer, but a lot of us can't. And so, if you can hold your breath a little bit longer than the person next to you, and you're just like, kind of, I don't know, fuck you. Then I can ride this out. Can you? That's what privilege is. That's what not giving a shit is. That's what a third party voter is like. I can hold my breath. If you can't, fuck you. Let those people drown so that I can make my point that we should all be able to hold our breath longer. That's no different than Republicans who think that, there's some sort of pure meritocracy out there, which is also their own myth, obviously. I gotta go. All right. You guys are wonderful. I get on a tear, and then we don't have a show later on, and I got stuff to do, and all that stuff. Thank you, CSL. Amen. My brother. My brother. I like more than anything else, I think CSL and I bond over that. One day, my friend, I hope we can just bond over movies and shit. But right now, that's a worthwhile endeavor. And to me, that flipping of the switch, that idea of flipping the switch, I gotta say, there is no point in my life, not wanting to waste your time doing this show. That there's no way that doesn't extend to the voting booth. Fuck, I'm going to waste your time going, well, maybe, I don't know, should we go like half, let's try, and, maybe if I let them know I'm serious and there's half a percentage point of people that vote against Biden and blah, blah, like that kind of thinking, it's grotesque. It's grotesque. It's infantile. Yes, we're on for tonight. I will see you guys later. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. And remember, choose less evil.